Hello? Hello? Just a sec, sir.
Go, no, go.
Is your son a terrorist?
No terrorist. Go.
He's not a terrorist.
No terrorist. Go.
Well, then tell us about that.
Go.
But,
Can we talk to you about who he is?
Go.
where is your son now?
Police, go, police.
Okay, we're going.
Police, go.
We're going. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Go.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
Returning to our top story this hour, terrorism charges have been laid against a Burnaby man. Our CMPs say 25-year-old Hasibullah Yusufzai left his Burnaby home for Syria, apparently to join Islamic fighters. Our CMPs say this is the first charge in relation to a new section of the criminal code, which makes it a criminal offence to leave the country to take part in terrorist activities. With more analysis, we are joined on the line by Evan Jendruk. He is a terrorism analyst with Jane's Terrorism and Insurgency Center. Evan, thanks for being with us today.
Hi, Sonia. Thanks for having me.
So how significant are these charges against Yusufzai?
I think the charges were a long time coming. The Canadian Parliament first introduced the legislation in June 2012, and then it came into effect last July. So it wasn't a shock to anyone when they actually started charging people. I think it is definitely the first one, and we're definitely going to see similar charges in the coming years as the Syrian conflict continues.
Now, as we mentioned, this is the first charge from this new section of the criminal code, which basically makes it a criminal offense to leave the country to take part in a terrorist activity. Now, just explain to us, how significant these new terrorism, anti-terrorism legislation is.
I think it's a very good tool for Canadian authorities and in particular the RCMP to use. What's different about this legislation is that, like you said, it lets authorities charge people before they leave to Canada. Now, that's not always easy to prove intent, but there are some things like individuals buying a flight or talking to people, fighting in Syria already, talking to family members, talking to friends, getting an idea of what they're doing. And collecting that information about people is actually quite difficult once they've already left the country and, say, for example, are fighting in the middle of nowhere in Afghanistan or in Yemen. So that's what's really notable about this legislation is it gives authorities the power to pinpoint possible threats before they actually leave the country.
All right. Now, I understand that you've actually been in contact with some of Yusufzai's family members. What can you tell us about what they're saying?
I've only been reading kind of the reports from local media and what they've been saying. But from what I've read, Yusufzai's brother has actually said that Hasibullah has actually been in Turkey for Ramadan. However, having left in January 2014, as we know, Ramadan isn't a 6-month process. So it is really difficult to kind of to say who's right, and I'm not going to try and do that. What I think is important is that the RCMP aren't going to press charges against someone unless they have clear and tangible evidence that a wrong has occurred, essentially.
So is it your understanding that he is still in Syria at this time?
I couldn't really speculate where he is. I think what's clear is that he hasn't returned back to Canada. When he does, obviously he will be arrested and tried, and that's kind of what these charges signify. They also kind of suggest a warning to others who are engaged in terrorism activities abroad, and say, hey, look, we can, charge you while you're away, and if you do come back, you will be arrested and you will face trial.
And Evan, what would be the next step here for police?
Well, the next step right now, I don't think there's much they can do. I think they'd obviously have to wait for Yusufzai to come back. And in that case, they would assess whether he does pose a threat to Canada and Canadians. And if they do, or if they do assess that to be the case, then obviously he'll continue to face, or he'll go on to face trial. And then the evidence the RCMP has will be brought against him.
All right. Evan, I want to thank you very much for being with us. That's Evan Jendruk with Jane's Terrorism and Insurgency Center analyst. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you very much.